Hello everybody, K-Whip here, and welcome to a Black Ops 4 video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about gear, which is one of the most important things in your loadout for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And I'm going to be going over what gear I think is the best, talking about the advantages of each of them, and help you figure out which gear fits your playstyle best. Now, it is worth noting that all of this is based off beta gameplay, so all of the dynamics of this gear could change. But this video is at least going to be relevant for the beta, and will most likely carry value through the early pages of the game as well, especially kind of matching your playstyle with each gear. But I don't know if the statistics and the actual power of the gear will remain the same post-beta. Anyway, talking about gear, it's this little slot right here. And what gear is in this game is kind of like a power perk, is what I would describe it as. You have your perk 1, perk 2, perk 3 over here, but then there's gear, and I feel like gear is a lot more powerful than most of the perks, and it's one of the most dynamic and significant parts of your loadout. Now these are all of your gear options. There's the equipment charge, the stim shot, ComSac device, body armor, and the acoustic sensor. Now starting out with the equipment charge. As it says, equipment and specialist weapons recharge faster. Basically, this is going to be reducing your cooldowns for your R1 ability, and also you're going to get your super or your specialist faster, whatever you want to call it. And through my playing with equipment charge, the difference in rates is actually rather significant. If you're using a character that has its specialist weapon take quite a long time to charge, say like the Prophet with Tempest or the Seraph with Annihilator, those are weapons you're probably only going to get once a game if you're not using equipment charge, but I was getting the specialist weapon twice a game most of my games. And I'd say with those type of specialists, you are going to get like one more use of them every single game. And then when it comes to something you get a little bit faster, like the grab slam on Ruin, you can get that 2, maybe even 3 times more often than normal. Like I definitely had a TDM where I had about 4 grab slams, so you can get a couple more of those than normal. And speaking of Ruin, I examined his grappling hook cooldown times with and without the equipment charge. And without it, it takes about 10 seconds for your grappling hook to be available again. Whereas with the equipment charge, there's only a 5-second interval of not having your grappling hook after using it. So that half the cooldown right there. I'm not sure if it does that for all of the characters, but it definitely makes a significant difference with all of them. Say with Prophet, his Seeker Drone was available far more than normal, and that's a utility that's extremely powerful, and if you're near it, is giving you just about guaranteed kills. I noticed the same thing with Battery and her Cluster Grenade. The difference it's going to make in cooldowns is very significant and very helpful. So what does that mean for the overall usability of the equipment charge? That means if you're using a class that has very powerful abilities, this is going to be a very powerful option. For example, if you're running Prophet, if you're running Battery, if you're running Ruin, even Recon, this is going to be an incredible option for you. Whereas if you're running something like Crash, Ajax, Torque, their abilities aren't very impressive and aren't going to net you many extra kills using them, so I'd say it's not as significant an ability if you use it with them. And outside how good this actually is, I'd say it's probably the most fun gear out of the bunch, especially if you pair it with Ruin. Having your grappling hook every 5 seconds and having all those grab slams is extremely fun, maybe my favorite thing to do in the game thus far. And so equipment charge, very fun, pretty powerful if you use it with the right character, and definitely a good option. Now moving on to the next slot, which is the stim shot, which heals you faster and more often while maintaining control of your weapon. So when I tested this, it looks like with the stim shot, you're going to be healing to full health to 150 HP in about 3 seconds, and you will also be able to use your heal in about 3 seconds after using it. So that basically means whenever you need to heal, you're going to be able to. In comparison to the standard amount of time it takes to get fully healed, it takes a bit under 6 seconds to heal all the way up without stim shot, and it takes you about 7 seconds for you to earn the ability to heal again. And then the last part of the stim shot is that it allows you to maintain control of your weapon while you're healing. That means you're going to be able to fire while healing. You won't be able to ADS, but you will be able to shoot, which can be helpful in some panic situations, being able to still fire while you're getting a heal off. And really, this is when this gear is going to shine the most. It's kind of panic situations, very intense times. If you're getting pushed by multiple players and you're trying to put someone down quick, get into cover, heal as fast as you can before your next gunfight, and the stim shot's going to help you with that. Because you heal faster in between gunfights, you're going to be able to take them more often. So if you're a player that likes using submachine gun, likes getting deep into enemy lines, trying to take on many players at once, the stim shot may be the gear for you. Because the faster healing that you get through stim shot is probably going to allow you to tank a bullet or two extra in gunfights after your first one. So if you're very aggressive, that can help you out, and maybe help you out in some fights that you wouldn't be able to win. Now on to the next gear, which is the ComSec device, which makes it so score streaks are earned at a discounted cost. Now, if you just go to the score streak section, it will show you how much the ComSec device actually impacts each of these streaks. So for the lower tier ones, it's all about 100 less. Then with almost all the other streaks, it's going to be 250 less to earn them, except for the strike team, which takes 350 less. So if you're a player that really likes kill streaks, you want to go for high kill games using those streaks, this might be an alright option to pursue, but I'm not sure how great the streaks in this game really are. Mantis is quite powerful, you'll see a clip on it on the screen right now, and you can get that for only 700 points, which isn't too hard to get. A Hellstorm for only 600 points is quite solid as well. I wouldn't recommend using the gunship, at least when I tried it out. Anyone that had like bullet armor or flak jacket or whatever was showing up was taking very, very little damage, and it was astoundingly underwhelming. The attack chopper also doesn't seem very good. It might be just because cold-blooded is kind of the default perk and a lot of people are using that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like streaks are super impactful, gonna give you enough value to make the ComSec worth it over a lot of the other things that you can choose. So maybe if you're rocking like Mantis strike team and a Hellstorm, and you want to get a bunch of streak kills, this might be a decent setup, but outside of that, I don't know, it doesn't seem super worthwhile. And even if you just want to get like UAVs faster, I don't think that's worth it. The UAVs seem pretty bad in this game, they do not last long at all. So I'd say streaks aren't going to be super influential, I wouldn't worry about ComSec too much. But I haven't had heavy use with any of the really big streaks, so I can't speak on that too much. Now on to a brutal one. We got body armor, which increases protection from initial bullet damage. This thing is super strong. I'm kind of bewildered with why they brought this in. This armor is going to make it so your first bullet or two is going to do very, very little damage to them, sometimes none at all. And that's even the case with sniper bullets. As I'll try to slow down one of these shots where I shoot someone in the chest and it does practically no damage. But it's not going to be super easy to see. So thing number one, this is going to be the bane of snipers' existence. It's going to be hit mark city for them. And the same thing goes for any other pretty powerful weapons like a semi-auto. It's going to nullify a lot of the damage that you're getting hit by. And so this is honestly going to be strong in just about any situation. It's going to give you like a 1 or 2 bullet advantage in just about every fight you're in, which in Call of Duty is quite enormous. It's also a very frustrating thing to play against. And what I'd say about the body armor is I'd probably use it unless I find that a different playstyle is going to be better utilized by one of the other equipment at the time. For example, if I want to just fly around the map with Ruin, throw an equipment charge so I have just unbelievable mobility, I'll be getting supers a lot, and I can be playing extremely aggressive, then maybe I can go with equipment charge. Also, playing really aggressive stim shot can be great. And then the acoustic sensor, which I haven't talked about yet, that's going to be a very strong close range ability as well. Also a good one for just trying to live long and go on kill streaks. If that's the playstyle I want to go with, I go with that. If how I want to play doesn't fit any of those descriptions, then I'd probably go with body armor. So what that leads you with is maybe if you're playing with an AR, you're not playing as aggressive, you're kind of set up at a power position, or more bluntly, camping your ass off. I think body armor is best going to be utilized when you're in an AR or a sniper role where you're keeping your distance a bit more, because those are the situations where you're going to be going up against sniper rifles and those auto rifles that shoot a little slower but do a significant amount of damage per bullet, so then your body armor is going to be canceling out more of their DPS than it would with like a sub. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process with the body armor. I will slow down some shots to kind of show you how the body armor is working. It's got like a certain amount of damage it can withhold before it's completely gone, and then it will start taking away health. But what it can amount to is that you're going to be taking 0 or 1 damage on 1, 2, maybe even 3 bullets. So yeah, body armor, pretty dang strong. Honestly, I'd kind of prefer it just wasn't in the game, never made it out of the beta. That would be my preference. Alright, now moving on to the last gear option, which is the acoustic sensor. And this makes it so enemy movements are easier to hear and they trigger minimap indicators. So the easier to hear part is pretty self-explanatory. I wouldn't say it's a huge difference, but it is a difference. And if you've got a nice headset, that's going to make you a bit more aware of people's positions and can be helpful. Now with the minimap indicators, this is basically Sixth Sense from Black Ops 3, or if you've played Destiny, it's similar to that radar. If people are nearby, it's going to show a little tick on the minimap showing you which direction they generally are in. And this is something that is very strong. For you to know when someone is anywhere near you is pretty damn helpful in Call of Duty. People are constantly flanking, or spawns are flipping. It's rare that you know exactly where people are on the map, and that's going to be more true for this game than maybe any other COD because the UAV only lasts for like 10 or 15 seconds. It's so short. Not to mention that Ghost, I believe, is one of the default perks, or at least you can get it extremely quickly. But this minimap is just going to give you a ton of information. You're going to be aware of just about every gunfight you're going to get into before it actually happens, except for maybe some long-range ones. But the radar actually has pretty decent range, so you're going to know when fights are coming, and you're going to know the general position of players. And this is also one of the greatest counter-flanking things ever, because there's going to be a little red blip behind you as that enemy starts to approach, so you can just turn and burn before they even know what's happening. If you've ever been on a fantastic flank and someone just is turning around staring into their spawn for absolutely no reason, the acoustic sensor very well could be the reason, because either they heard you or they saw you on the minimap, so they're tipped off by your location, which is pretty damn obnoxious. So with the acoustic sensor, you're going to have just about more information than anyone else on the map, unless they're using the acoustic sensor, or maybe running recon, which by the way is an incredible pairing with the acoustic sensor because you can shoot the recon dart somewhere and know the enemy's general location of one area, and then you'll know everything nearby you with the acoustic sensor. And yeah, it's a lot of intel, which is extremely valuable in COD. So I'd say if you're trying pretty hard, you want to gain a competitive advantage on your enemies, the acoustic sensor is a pretty dang good way to do it. Sure, body armor will let you take a bullet or two more, but the acoustic sensor will let you know where the enemy is, so you can probably pre-aim them, or be more ready than the fight for them, so maybe you can get a bullet or two or three in before they're even ready for the fight. So if you want to stay alive long, if you want to go on streaks, if you want to play smart, I think the acoustic sensor is going to help that play style incredibly. Also, it's going to be a very good close range option because you get all that close range information with the radar. And yeah, that's the acoustic sensor. And that's everything I have to say about all of the gear of Black Ops 4. If I were to rank them, it'd be a little bit difficult. The ComSec would definitely be in last place. I think fourth place would be the stim shot. I'd maybe give the equipment charge third, body armor, maybe second place. It's second or first, it's very strong. And acoustic sensor, same thing. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later.